So I'm a Delhi College of Engineering graduate, University of Delhi, came out of engineering in 1998. That is a time when India was known to export software engineers. In a sense, there was Y2K bug happening in Western world, so a lot of engineers would be going and working on site. I somehow had this feeling that while we can definitely do that as a career, why aren't we trying to do something in India itself? And I was lucky to be born in an age where internet was happening. So there was business model of internet which you could build a software, you could build a website, you could build application, and you could distribute to the rest of the world. So, and Silicon Valley was very popularly building some softwares and people were running big businesses there. So my early entrepreneurship was with an assumption that sitting in India, we can build something world class that will be having a stamp of made in India and delivered to the world, like some people were doing it sitting in US. Everything that you had was internet connection and talent and capability. Though we were not that successful, but we were very successful for the company. We sold that company, made some money, we ended up selling it to a US based company. And once you taste that success, in a sense that the fruit of your hard work is there, money, impact of what you built is there, you want to do the next. So I built this next company, 197. First 10 years, we built softwares for telecom operators in India. So on feature phones, people could listen to content, see mails, news, etc. And 2011, when smartphone and 3G technologies came on mobile phones in India, we wanted to be players of the mobile internet, and the first problem we wanted to solve was how do you do the payments on mobile internet world. And because of the payment being our first starting point, we built a platform called Pay Through Mobile, meaning Paytm, and that's how Paytm happened in 2011 for us. And since then, we first solved some daily payment requirements like mobile recharges, utility bill payments, and then grew towards being a marketplace so that SMEs and other people can sell their products to the consumers. So today, Paytm from payment to the marketplace is getting into third avatar now. Government of India and RBI has given us in principle approval for launching a payment bank. So we potentially will see some days later a Paytm payment bank also. So payments, commerce, banking. So one other thing in my first part of the business was when mobile phones started to grow in the country. I think it was 2005 and 6, sort of 2004 end, when we saw a lot of Indians starting to buy a phone. Especially government had done a new policy that only calling party pays, the receiving party just gets it for free call. And that I think was influx movement for telecom in the country. And obviously over the period then pricing changed, that became so affordable. And when we were seeing that so many people are using phones, we knew the technology that we were building for content and marketing on the telecom networks is going to be useful. And that is exactly how we grew. Like I remember in 2007, our revenues were 11 crore and we probably did 5 crore of EBITDA in that year, 2007. And by 2010, like next 3-4 years, we were 20 times. We had 220 crore revenue and we had 100 crore of EBITDA. So the growth became massive once the consumer started to come. Again, the same happened in the smartphone ecosystem when the 3G internet happened. That 2013 is the time when 3G started to become more mainstream, when the devices price, the phone price fall below 5,000 rupees. So when common man was able to buy a smartphone, I think it just took off. I've learned one thing in India: everything can make money, but it has to achieve that influx pricing point, influx movement, because we sort of have a massive bell curve which has a hump kind bell curve. There are rich, there are very poor, but the middle class, which has a very big scope, has an optimum price point. So pricing remains one of the critical strategy in this country for everyone. So same happened in our payment business too. So when we were building Paytm, we needed large capital. I think, remember, payment is nothing less than an infrastructure for a country. It's an infrastructure of an economic kind. Every consumer needs to be known, created a digital wallet, money transfer. So the amount needed was in hundreds of millions of dollars, thousands of crores were needed. So we sort of, when we went to raise money, we had a challenge on us that we could only raise money from fewer people who can give hundreds of millions of dollars as money, not the people who are like few 50 or 100, 10 million, tens of millions of dollars. So I went to New York, San Francisco, Hong Kong, Singapore, China. Didn't go to Tokyo because I got to see them in other cities, and met many investors. The best part was that India was very much welcome. I think I have to give it to the new government. I remember I was in New York the next day when our Prime Minister in Madison Square talked about how India is and what kind of euphoria he created, and everybody was asking me, how's your new government, how's your new Prime Minister, what kind of impact that you see on ground. I can say that outside in incredible expectation and positivism, I could see it when I was raising money. They were trying to, so more or less the factor that I had to solve was that people want to come in India, and I have to make them come in India, then offer the trust that we are a good company. So I think it became a far easier journey versus, I don't know of your global large macros, what will happen in few long years, we don't see it happening. So it has changed a lot. And I think that was also the inflection point for companies in India to raise large money. We got lucky with Alibaba and Jack Ma. He sort of appreciated the business that we do, our business ethos, things that we want to do, how we believe in small is beautiful, how we believe in large scale platforms are capable to bring impact, or a very different level of impact on the commerce of a country. So those things sort of resonated between us, and Jack Ma sort of decided that let's put a large money. I had gone to raise about $100 million, and I raised many times over large money in that single meeting actually, and he sort of committed that money, very lucky to have that. And next, once that had happened, I reached out to people whom I have tremendous amount of respect as I was growing up, and Mr. Tata was absolutely one of those. Mr. Tata, I have heard anecdotal stories about him that when he was growing up and he was studying in foreign university, his family gave him only the allowance so that he could spend that much money, and they were rich enough, they could have afforded and found various ways to give him more money. But I absolutely love and respect how they lived by the ethos and the values and the systems that they respected and valued in India. So after Mr. Jack Ma and Alibaba's investment, immediately reached out to him, and he was like a very inspiring in a meeting and very kind to decide to support us and be even a board observer there. So I think I have seen that first India needs, and we need a lot of large money, and then we need blessing and support of a lot of people who build such empires and companies in India itself. In an industry, when industry is being made, there are different business models that address the market. One of the obvious business model is that get some affiliates to sell so that you are able to have a control on quality and pricing, because those affiliates are selling on your platform mostly, and then you are delivering a customer an integrated experience. And I think when we see market today, it is mostly that kind of companies who sort of have some affiliates who mostly sell on their platforms only. When I had gone to China and I had seen Alibaba and their model in China in 2011, I had found out an uncanny counterintuitive to this business model, that instead of being an online retailer, become an online mall. So becoming a mall where many others sell instead of you selling to the consumer was the model that I learned there. And the beauty is this being an asset light model, this being a technology driven model, because you're not learning what is a fall winter collection, what is the correct merchandising of this very element, what is the kind of inventory you need to keep, because you are away from retail limitations or learnings. You can focus more and more on customer, technology, scale, capabilities which otherwise get underserved. So we picked up that as a model. So we funnily find ourselves in a blue ocean that a lot of people are not addressing a market in a way that we are addressing. So our strategy puts us into that blue ocean there. And in a more common language, a common day parlance, that if I was to say, we're like a stock exchange. We don't influence buyers, we don't influence sellers. Buyers and sellers come on our platform and they buy. Unlike in other companies' case, that they are themselves telling the customer to buy from them or some of the affiliates whom they want to promote. This is like being a bank there, investment bank there. So that business model gives us opportunity to have a massive scale in long term. Such platforms grow slowly, but once the network effect starts to kick in, more number of users bring more number of merchants, bring more number of items, bring more number of users to shop. Once such network effect kicks in, it starts to become a very, very large platform in any country. We believe that we will be able to build India's largest commerce platform, and we will be the commerce operating system of the country by offering payments, logistics, marketplace, marketing, and everything with our partners. We don't do logistics ourselves. When a company opens a warehouse, they sort of are limiting themselves to open a few. While we are partner company in every pin code, our target to number of warehouses that we want to open, 39,000 warehouses. Why 39,000? Because country has 39,000 pin codes. Every pin code should have a warehouse where local sellers can put their items, and that item can be seen on an inventory made available to the consumer when they are buying in the marketplace. So our model is an asset light, technology centric, and totally neutral marketplace. While others find other ways to grow, which is very fine and correct, I think there is a early growth when you become, let's say, affiliate seller selling on your platform, maybe inventory led models as we call them, versus marketplaces which take very long haul and a very large market share once they become big. The reason that we had started a marketplace was because as a payment platform, payments is a tough customer acquisition and merchant acquisition business. It requires two parties on your platform. You need consumer, you need merchants. It's costly to acquire both of them. So when we had built a payment business, we knew that cost of customer acquisition going to be prohibitive, that one cannot make enough money in payment alone business. So we extend that to marketplace business so that we can make larger margin in a marketplace transaction so that this customer acquisition can become profitable. And now with banking, payment, commerce, banking, that is saving and earning the money. So you can pay, you can buy, you can save and earn on bank. This becomes even a longer value chain, and that allows us to monetize our customers on a longer life cycle value. So it's uncanny and very amazing to know that in between, while we were building this business model as an extension of the next business model, previous business model, it gets extended to next level also ahead of what we had built. So I think bank is a logical extension. As far as consumer is concerned, he's trusting us with his money when he's using our wallet and payment system. He's trusting us when he's buying from the merchant whom we are sort of endorsing on our platform. And he will continue to hopefully extend the trust when he's even using us for his deposits and lending needs otherwise there. So it's a great opportunity for us. We want to be very sincere and build a world-class banking model out of this country. We do not see it as an extension of our business. Incidentally, we see it as an opportunity given to us to build a world-class model for a next generation of the bank, and we believe we'll be able to do it out of India. One of the things that we've seen is that currently India is going through this leap because one missing factor that used to be in India called consumer base has started to happen here. If you see early 90s, they were more or less software export business. So they had found customers in international markets. They were building something which was for America, Japan, Europe, and all IT services company will have local sales offices there. So we were exporting because customer was there. Then in between, India had a little bit of internet rush from 98 to 2005-6 or 2008. This is the time when internet brought out few million customers. I think India, if you see broadband internet connection, 28-30 million broadband customers in so many years. And there was a smaller internet business that was built in those days. And then post 2010-11, ultimately smartphones have happened and mobile internet has happened. So we now have hundreds of millions of consumers. So finally we have a large local market like what used to exist and is existing in China, Russia, US or Japan. So finally India's mobile internet business is taking off, or I'd say India's consumer technology business is taking off riding the mobile internet. And mobile internet is giving an opportunity to create large consumer technology conglomerates like Facebook, Google, Amazon, Alibaba, SoftBank, Naspers. Those things will happen. India finally will see some hundreds of billions of dollars of technology companies serving Indian consumers. And that is what is beautiful. Second, it has another profound impact on economy because consumers have started to use technology. Different industry verticals have started to become efficient, scalable, and new players are addressing that. One of the most popular examples that all of us know today is in taxi business. We sort of assumed there was a way to get a taxi, and today it has just changed. And imagine the technology that has come has removed so many middlemen. The person who is driving your car is getting the maximum value, and you actually are getting maximum service because you have it on demand at a price which is competing service levels. It's amazing when technology hits or crosses a technology industry vertical. It is always the case that industry takes time to learn about the technology, then technology company takes time to learn about industry. Like I talked about taxi, I can talk about retail, I can talk about payments, I can talk about commerce. In payments today, we are bigger than the largest of this country's bank in number of transactions every month that happens. Paytm incidentally does nearly half of the number of total transactions that all bank combined do on payment of Visa, Master, RuPay, everybody else combined there. So I think this is the age and era when large number of consumer technologies companies will offer one vertical of service at a time. This is good for consumers, this is good for businesses that are doing, except that it will be a little bit of disruptive because you might see a newer player offering, you might see a new company offering that service instead of the traditional one that whom you expected it to deliver. The best part about entrepreneurship is that it requires full circle to complete. If you have an idea, you need some investors. If you have some investors, they need some exit. If you have some exits, you need the next round of money. If you have next round of money, you need money, larger capital to scale. So it's sort of a full circle there. And I think when I started way back in 98, 99, the term angel investment, which was the sort of first seed money requirement that you have and you fulfill, didn't even exist at that point of time. I had to build a business based on a little bit of personal savings, a little bit of taking money on loan from friends and family. Today, India has come full complete circle, and now India itself offers every asset class for investment and every investment need that you have, whether it is an early stage angel investor or an accelerator program or series A investments. An Indian entrepreneur now can expect all series of investments to happen. I still remember that in India raising $100 million, which is like 400-500 crore in those days when dollar was less, was only a public raise most of time. It used to be only a public listing. Today you can do it in private rounds. You can get money from international investors, and we very much see this, that billions of dollars are getting in these high risky, high reward investment vehicles. Very interestingly, what has changed for Indian entrepreneur is that unlike earlier when the money was mostly Indian, which has its own limitation and restriction, for example, like an Indian business house might not appreciate your business model. You now have global investors ready to invest in India, and that is what has given birth of this whole cycle. And considering the later investments are happening, companies are then buying younger companies, which means that younger investments are happening. So it's a very complete cycle there, and I'm very happy there that people like angel investors, and I have my own sort of portfolio or number of investments, are doing that for young entrepreneurs. And then companies or funds are doing the late stage investments. We investing everybody who's addressing Indian opportunity using smartphones, mobile internet, and we continue to do that. And earlier, one point in time, we used to invest internationally also. But now all the attention is happening in India. The amount of innovation, amount of business models that are coming out of India are incredible. The best part is that what has been built earlier is definitely not going to serve the next billion consumers that are coming. So, and there is no better country to build that but India, because we have technology, talent, and even resources now. So, entrepreneurs out there have a great opportunity in India, and then taking this what you built here to the rest of the world.